What's going on, guys and girls? How are you doing today? It's a roleplay here once again, and today I have prepared a very comprehensive list of changes for you guys for the Ascendancy classes in the 3.13 Echoes of the Atlas expansion and the Ritual League upcoming very soon actually. I went through all the Ascendancies and even printed some shit so that I will not forget all the stuff that I want to tell you about it, because there's quite a lot of things easy to miss. There's a lot of changes here, and I will try to stay focused and on the point, because it's not that great, guys. It's not that great. So what they wanted to do there, overall, they wanted to emphasize each ascendancy to make it more like distinct and unique. They wanted to remove all the filler like generics, increases, and all that shit, like in generic increases to attack, defense, and make it like more distinct, more unique for each ascendancy. Slayer, let's start with the Slayer first. Slayer actually got more leech. As far as I can understand, they missed the total word over here, and I have a feeling this is maximum total recovery per life leech. So hopefully it brings Slayer back to the Leech King, doubling his leech rate, and I think that this is very, very nice. This is where the Slayer have been back in the day when the glorious Val Pact was still functioning. So hopefully the leech is back on the Slayer. Also, you get one more frenzy charge, which is really, really cool for the discharge version of the Slayer. And you also got a little more base crit chance, and also +2 to melee strike range, which is very, very cool reach for all the strike builds and overall the melee builds as a whole. That's pretty much all changes for the Slayer. So double leash, more frenzy, and a little more strike range. Let's move on to the Gladiator. Gladiator has more changes, but overall not so many. So first the important thing is he has less damage now. See, this thing called Pain Force has been completely removed. 40% increased damage if you've taken no damage from hits recently. So that was kind of handful. Now it's gone. At the same time, it has a higher percent chance to blind enemies on hit against bleeding enemies. So 25% chance to blind with hits against bleeding, up from 10. This is pretty reliable chance to blind now, and it's a very, very cool defensive mechanic. At the same time, it got generic attack, a chance to block. Now, as you can see, it only applied to blocking when you dual wielded or holding a shield. Now you can block with a two-hander. This is pretty crazy. It makes the build tank, like two-hander builds with the Gladiator, much tankier if they even exist, and they do exist, like the staff version maybe. They do exist indeed, and that makes the build tankier. Let's move over to the champion, guys. I'm trying to be very focused on the point here. Champion. First of all, champion lost 500 armor and 500 evasion when I have 45. This is a pretty big thing, assuming we convert all the evasion usually into the armor. So we lost like 1,000 armor. That's a pretty big deal. At the same time, we get 10% increased effect of 45 on us, and 15% more increased effect of non-cursed auras from our skills, which I believe will outweigh some of the loss that we have. At the same time, the Master of Metal, which gave us 2 additional impale hits, lost 1 impale hit and chance to impale. This is a pretty substantial nerf, but at the same time, I think it will be balanced through the increased effectiveness of the Dread Banner, so probably this will outweigh the removal of this additional hits. Probably it will help. I don't know, guys. So overall, champion has been nerfed, I think, all around. Just got a little bit tanky on the 45, a little less armor and evasion, and that's about it. A little less impale for sure as well. Speaking about the assassin, guys, assassin got pretty weird changes. First of all, it completely lost all damage over time here, like a lot of damage over time going down. At the same time, it lost the increased damage with poison, which kind of weird. It sucked. Now it's damage over time multiply, and it definitely is a nerf. At the same time, it gained 100% elusive on critical strike, and 50% increased elusive effect. So he's kind of very dodgy guy now. Very elusive, very dodgy guys now. It's very cool. But the bad thing about this is he also lost... Where is it? Sorry. Yeah. He lost this. 20% of physical damage as extra chaos damage against poison enemies. That was pretty big thing. Toxicity was pretty big thing, guys. 20% extra damage is huge, and this is a big loss for builds that really relied on a fat feast damage, like the claw builds, the dagger builds, which emphasized on the actual hit damage and transformed it into the chaos and poison. This is a pretty big hit, and honestly, I think that overall Assassin was nerfed. It's kind of became more elusive, dodgy, but speaking about the damage, it just lost the damage like everywhere. A lot of damage over time lost. Extra damage, this is huge loss. So I think Assassin got a pretty big nerf. Now Saboteur. Saboteur got 100% chance to blind on hit. Look at this, blind enemies on hit. This is pretty big defense for the Saboteur. Also, it got back his 2% of life regen per second for each mine or trap detonated, up to 10% per second. It's not the old 20, but at least we got from 1 to 2%, and it means you just regenerate faster now, which is very good defensive stuff overall. One thing that happened is that, very important thing that happened is that the mines were completely fucked in the ass. Look at that. 20% reduced minor reservation of skills that throw mines removed. 20% reduced minor cost of skills that throw trap also reduced, but the reservation of mines is much bigger thing. We got traps everywhere. Also, another thing that has been removed is increased damage if you detonated mine recently. Gone. What else is gone? There's something else has been gone as well. So basically, yeah. Reservation is actually, guys, a pretty big fucking thing. And, you know, mines are very hungry. Like, mana vice are very hungry stuff. It costs a lot of mana to cast, and you're always, like, reserving as much as you can. And then you just have this little bit of mana left for your mines. And they're moving even this. So it's really bad for mines now, I think. And at the same time, look at the amount of buffs that the traps got. It's pretty crazy. 25% chance for traps to trigger an additional time. That's ridiculous. 25% to reduce mana cost of skill that throw traps. Ridiculous. And basically, yeah, cooldown recovery is also increased. Look at that. 50% increased cooldown recovery rate for throwing traps. This is fucking silly, guys. 50% increase area of effect. I mean, that's insane. Chain reaction is so useful now, finally. So, overall, 100% chance to blind. Mines got fucked. Traps were buffed. This is it. Trickster. Trickster, guys. Trickster is in a pretty bad shape, unfortunately. It lost 20% increased poison duration, which is honestly a pretty big thing. And another thing he lost is over here, 50% increased damage over time. 50% increased damage over time. Gone. Just fucking gone. This is pretty bad, guys. I mean, Trickster was often used for damage over time builds, but now that it's gone, I think that the Occulties will rise again from the ashes. I really hope so. I'm a big fan of the Occulties, and I can highly recommend the Occulties Essence Drain version of the Essence Drain build. So Occulties, I think, will prevail finally now, where it should be, guys. So Trickster got tanky, get 3% reduced damage taken per Ghost Shroud. He has damage reduction here and there, like a little more damage there, more recovery on kill now, like from 2 to 3, but fucking loss of the durations and the damage over time. I think it was a little bit unnecessary, probably. I don't know, guys. So Trickster got tanky but lost damage over time. Moving over to Jug. Jug got a pretty weird rework on Undeniable. It has accuracy rating twice of your strength, but you have 500 accuracy rating instead of 1000 now. So you get way less flight accuracy now, but way more accuracy based on your strength. So if you have like 300 strength, you get 600 accuracy. That beats up the lost like 500 that you lose over here. And at the same time, look at this. 1% increase attack speed per 150 accuracy rating. That potentially allows you to build a super fast attacking, accuracy stacking jack. I think that probably can break the game at some point. I have a feeling if this is real and the accuracy staking will still be a thing in the next patch, I have a feeling this will probably might be nerfed main league. I'm not sure, guys. I'm not so sure, but I think this is dangerous. This is a very dangerous change over here, and I really hope that GG know what they're doing. So that's pretty much all the changes. Berserker got only the buffs. This is the only Ascendancy that get only the buffs, guys, and nothing but the buffs. Look at this. 10% maximum rage on the Crave of the Slaughter, and as well as increased total recovery, like 30% increased total recovery per second from live leech. So he's leeching more now, and he gets more rage now and more attack speed. This is absolutely amazing. Berserker is the only Ascendancy that just got the buffs, guys. Chieftain is in a fantastic state here. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Not only he got tankier a little bit, 15% of his damage taken from hits as fire. Regeneration is lost, but doesn't really matter. 50% fizz as fire, that's good. At the same time, from 1% to 2% of damage dealt by your totems is leached to you as life. This is huge. This is huge, but not only this, but 100% increased effective buffs granted by your active Ancestor totems. This is absolutely amazing for the Ancestral Protector, guys. I think that the Warchief Chieftain is absolutely mandatory to play this league if you want to play the fantastic boss killer build. I can highly recommend my build. Definitely, this is probably one of the builds that I recommend 100%. Necromancer, poor Necromancer. So overall, I actually expected more nerfs to the Necromancer, but most nerfs on the Necro actually are in the Spectre nerfs, but the Ascendancy just got toned down a lot. All the generic minion damage has been toned down from 15 to 10. At the same time, completely lost 30% damage on the consumed corpses and removed 20% increased mana. At the same time, it has more increased skill up duration, but the minion duration got destroyed. So the effects of the, let's say, the offerings and all kind of bullshit, the curses, it has got longer, but the minion duration got fucked in the ass. And this actually applies to Skellies and the SRS. SRS were kicked in the butt a little bit. Honestly, this is not good, and I believe this wasn't necessary. Like, why should be doing this? Like, what's the point? Is it like last forever? What? I mean, SRS and Skellies, okay, but why nerfing the minion duration, guys? That's kind of dumb in my opinion. That was unnecessary. That was unnecessary nerf over here. Okay, the Occulties. The Occulties actually is very weird now. They are trying to make the Occulties some kind of a heavy hitter now. So instead of damage over time, they just give more damage multiplied to cold damage and more damage to chaos damage, which is pretty weird. You see, 20% chaos damage over time transform into 15% more chaos, and 20% cold dot transform into 15% more cold damage. Why they do this? Because they want you to hit with the spells like the Arctic Breath, which is now a different skill, or something like this, you know. Basically, they want to make it so you will hit more and not just rely on dots. I think it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's a good idea. At the same time, actually, the biggest impact on the Occultists is this. They completely destroyed Malediction. Malediction, guys, if you don't know what this is the pinnacle of why Occultist was even kind of okayish, still in the damage. When you killed an enemy, for each curse on that enemy, gain 8% of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage for 4 seconds. That was pretty good buff for the curse bots, for the guys that stack curses on the enemies, but now it's completely gone. And I honestly don't know, that was a little bit unnecessary in my opinion as well. Okay, Elementalist. Elementalist, guys, is a big fucking rework. So first of all, they removed 20% increased golem damage per summoned golem. At the same time, they buffed one thing over here, giving it 25, but in the end, we still lost 15% increased golem damage per summoned golem. And let's say you have 10 golems. This is 150% increased golem damage. This is a lot of damage lost on the golems, guys. But what did we get instead? Instead, we get this. This is Shaper of Storms. Your hits always shock. All damage with hits can shock. And at the same time, it's like a guaranteed shock with anything you hit, even chaos damage, I believe. Like, basically anything you hit with, you can shock the enemies for at least 15 damage increase taken. And if you actually hit with the lightning damage, it's even more, because the effect of lightning elements is increased by 25% more of it. So you are supposed to kind of hit with the lightning damage actually to get more shock effectiveness and more shock on the enemy. This is pretty cool, but I'm not so sure if it outweighed the damage on the golem loss damage. What else? Very important thing over here, which probably a lot of you have missed, is regenerate 1% of mana per second if you've inflicted exposure recently. This is actually a pretty big, huge thing if you really want to try a self-casting spellcaster elementalist. This was the big problem, with the why spells suck so much in the game is because, you know, when you start casting, you constantly run out of mana. You just need the flask, you need clarity, you need mana divine enduring mana flask. And with this, it actually is a big help. If you have a big mana pool, you can regenerate and probably don't even need clarity anymore. This is actually very useful. What other thing have changed is the golem being resummoned automatically if they kill. This is giga buff for all golem mentalists, guys. Giga buff for one good reason. Good luck resummoning your golems during the Cyrus fight, or let's say a buffed Minotaur just slammed your all golems and they're dead. And golems cost like 500, like 400 mana to resummon with all the supports. Just tremendous amount of mana cost to resummon golems. And in the fight, you need to quickly inspect your auras, you know, regenerate the mana, and only then you can start summoning golems. That makes it completely useless now because you don't need to do it. They automatically like pop from the ground every 4 seconds after they die. This is crazy, crazy giga huge. Another giant nerf to the Elementalist is this: 25% increased effect of Herald buffs on you, gone. 25% reduced mana reservation of Herald skills, gone. So they killed the Herald Elementalist, guys. You remember the tree, there was a tree Herald Elementalist, Blade Vortex Elementalist build? I think there was such a build. Well, it's completely fucking dead now, that's what it is. So, kind of weird, honestly. I don't think it's even popular anymore. So, killing this now... Strange choice, guys. Okay, Deadeye. We come to the juicy juice finally. Deadeye, guys. A lot of things changed to the Deadeye. First of all, we can summon up to 3 Mirage Archers now. This is pretty silly. And they just run around as far as you can stand and shoot shit around. That's pretty crazy. Just imagine what kind of clear speed you can have with that. Just ridiculous. At the same time, we now gain Gale Force, which gives us less damage taken per Gale Force when we use a skill within 1 second. And if we gain like 10 of these Gale Forces and get hit, then we'll lose everything. So let's say basically when we use a skill, we get 1 Gale Force, right? 15% increase effect of Tailwind on you per Gale Force, up from 10. That's important, guys. I mean, I know it's hard to understand like what is going on here. I just explained. So basically, if you can use some skills very fast, you will get a lot of tailwind effect on you. And it's like say 50% more, like 25% more effective tailwind on you. You're becoming very fast. Very fast you're becoming. But if you get hit, you lose everything. You become slow, more damage taken because you lose this buff which goes Wind Ward. So you basically become like a wet dick, slow, weak, get hit and you possibly die. It's kind of a weird gameplay now for the Deadeye. You become very, very, let's say, tanky if you don't get hit. Very fast. Movement speed is ridiculous because Tailwind also applies to your nearby enemies. I have a feeling that like every party will have the Deadeye now in the party because it's just insane. Look at this. But at the same time, you get like you lost like 1,000 evasion now, and overall, if you get hit, you lose everything. So I'm not sure. I'm not so sure like if it's good or less. But I think overall it's a buff. Another thing that has been changed is no more pierce. Where is it? I see this completely removed. Projectiles pierce 3 additional targets. Projectiles have 100% increased critical chance against targets they pierce. This is really, really terrible, to be honest, because I really loved this thing. That was pretty damn huge. And, I mean, 100% crit chance against, especially early in the game, it was a huge buff. Now it's gone, I think, for no good reason. That kind of sucks. Look at this, too. Rupturing. Critical strikes which inflict bleeding also inflict rupture. Rupture is, guys, 25% strong, more bleeds. So what the shit does is, basically, if you get the critical strike, it inflict bleeding with it. You get pretty huge multiply to bleed damage. And so what it does is basically, I think it's now kind of possible to play a bleed on the Deadeye, although I'm not so sure how it will stretch over there. Like, how do you stretch to the bleed nodes? I mean, it would be definitely hard to reach, but it's becoming a reality. Bleed version of the Deadeye is becoming a fucking reality, guys. Another thing that is changing, you try skills fire an additional projectile. You see this? Endless munitions. Also, 75% increased effect of your marks. Imagine how much of an extra damage you can do on bosses with this. Holy shit, guys. This is pretty silly. And look at this. Let's assume we have 30% less damage on tail 10 Gale Force, and then we get 25% less damage taken from other enemies near your marked enemy. So that's 35% less damage taken from the enemies near the marked enemy. Let's say you have the boss, right? The boss. You mark the boss, and there's enemies around, and you don't get hit. You run around, and you take 55% less damage. This is pretty insane, honestly. It makes you kind of very tanky, but when you get hit, before you start gaining these Gale Force charges, you are very squishy. So, it's actually the true, like, don't get hit build now, you know? It's fucking weird, guys. It's fucking weird. Overall, Deadeye, that's why I'm talking for so long. Deadeye has been tremendously, like, changes, the most changes out of all. Another thing they have removed is 30%, 10% more damage for each remaining chain, extra damage. Gone. And it nerfs things like Gloomfang, for example. Spectral Shield Throw Deadeye dead completely, guys. But one thing that they have added is this. Projectiles have 30% chance to be able to chain when colliding with terrain. Do you guys know what's this? Do you guys know what's this? This is shotgunning. So they officially bring shotgunning back in the game. You know, over the last few years, they tried to remove all sources of shotgunning from the game. If you're old enough, you probably know that Kinetic Blast used to absolutely obliterate bosses. If you managed to pull the boss near the wall, you can shoot the wall and just ricochet it and started blasting the ass of the boss, and it just practically melted them. Gradually over the years, they start moving this, removing this mechanic from the game. But this is exactly what shotgunning is. Chance to be able to chain when colliding with terrain. And if you shoot the wall, if you shoot like any rocks, and the projectiles will actually chain, This will create a big fucking problem, guys, in my opinion, for this game. So I really hope the GGG know what they're doing, and otherwise there will be like a million of Molten Strike Jugs back, and Kinetic Blast will make a return or something like that, guys. This is serious issue. Alright, so that's, I think, it for the... for the data. Has been a long read, guys. Raider actually got pretty much permanent onslaught and permanent phasing now. Like, see that? Onslaught. And then you see that? Phasing. That's it. More dodge, more evasion. Overall, faster. Very fast guy. Very phasey guy. Like, very hard to hit, but otherwise, no big changes. Like, a little more of this, a little more that. Some balance, some exposure, like more damage a little bit. But overall, just permanent onslaught, permanent phasing. That's all that changed for the Raider. Pathfinder. Now, Pathfinder, guys, has been dramatically, in my opinion, nerfed in one aspect, which is the virulence. If you see over this, you lose virulence 50% slower. That was one of the few reasons why it still made Pathfinder the king for the Toxic Rain and the Herald of Agony build. With this in mind, it will still be viable, but it will be a pain in the ass, you know. It will be a pain in the ass. What we got on the Pathfinder? The most important thing is probably this, conversion. From 10% conversion, we now get 40% of conversion of physical damage to chaos. So Pathfinder kind of now becomes like a full, like, it really transforms to fist to chaos now. And at the same time, you get this. Recover 6% of life when you use a flask, like any flask, guys. This is pretty dope. It's like instant healing. I think this is pretty amazing. Aside from that, I would say no dramatic changes. No dramatic changes, just some buffs and nerfs. But overall, conversion, life flask, and they completely kill the virulence. This is my biggest concern. Honestly, I'm not so sure that Toxic Rain, Herald of Agony will be functioning as good as before now. Inquisitor. Unfortunately, guys, they decided to change Inquisitor into a really weird kind of melee spellcaster. I don't know why they think he should be this way. He really kind of lost his identity a long time ago, but they're trying to bring it back. So, to cut it short, what Inquisitor is now, if you attack for some time, you get a shit ton of cast speed and spell damage. But if you cast some shit, you get a shit ton of more attack damage. So overall, what you're gonna do as Inquisitor is you just attack and then cast something, or cast and then attack something. And this is why you kind of buff yourself in two multiple ways. But who the fuck will do this? I mean, it's just so annoying. You can shield dash indeed, but will you be doing it like every second and then standing and casting something? This is like a pain in the ass, in my opinion. It was a pain in the ass before, and now just like more pain in the ass than before, guys. I think that's pretty bad. It also lost 55% crit multiplier. They completely wrecked this. 45% crit multi against enemies that are affected by the elements, and they gutted this two little notes with crit multi. So he lost 55% crit multiply, gained a little better consecrated ground, and the most important thing is he just gains like a lot of cast speed if you're attacked, and a lot of spell damage if you a lot of more attack damage. Like you see more attack damage for each non-instant spell you've cast in the past 8 seconds, up to 30. So if you cast 3 spells during 8 seconds, you get 30% more attack damage. And if you attack very fast, you gain 75% increase cast speed. Also, pretty fucking strange change to the Inquisitor. I seriously doubt people will find a non-pain in the assful and a way to play Inquisitor. Hierophant. Now, a lot of people told me that Hierophant is in terrible state now. They got completely destroyed. Actually not, guys. I explain why. First of all, 5% more damage per summon totem, up from 3. Now let's think about it. My Siege Ballista totem build has 15 ballistas. From 45 more damage, I'm having 75% more damage. That's 30% more damage. More damage. I repeat, more damage. This means more damage, guys. So it's not like it's little damage, it's a lot more damage. So if you really have a lot of ballistas, it's a lot more damage now. At the same time, you see this, right? Skills that would summon a totem instead of two totems, they removed it. You now always summon one fucking totem. But look at this. Oh, look at this. 100% increased totem placement speed. Is it good? I think it's pretty bad, but it still helps. I mean, what changed, guys? What changed is, I see they removed the where did they removed the placement speed somewhere else. You see, it was here 50, now it's just 100. So it's 15% increased totem placement speed. Overall, it's definitely a nerf because planting 2 totems instead of 1 was a big deal on the Hierophant. That's why Hierophant was the king of fucking totems. Now it's a pain in the ass, but still, you just plant totems faster than anyone else. It's just a pain in the ass now, guys. It's just fucking annoying now, but they're still there. You just need some extra work to do now, guys. Is it bad? Yes, it is. It's a pain in the fucking ass, but it still works, guys. No worries, it still functions. But what do we get? What do we get instead? Look at this. 4 minimum energy charges. 4 minimum power charges. +1 to maximum power charges and maximum energy charges. This is ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. It's not for ballistas because ballistas are attacks, but for the spellcasters, guys, I have Volatile Dead, Spell Slinger, Hierophant build, which emphasizes the energy charges. Guys, this becomes so much tankier this way. It's crazy. It's becoming better. Look at this. 50% increased effect of Arcane Surge. Wow, holy shit. Spell damage through the roof, guys. If you really want to emphasize, I think that Hierophant becoming a tanky spellcaster now. Very good. Can highly recommend this, guys. Check it out. Ballistas still alive. Just pain in the butt now. But if you can plant all of them, they deal more damage, guys. Absolutely okay. No worries. And now the last one, Guardian. We finally come to an end, guys. Guardian. So what have changed for the Guardians? Not much. Not much. You see this? Every 5 seconds, remove curses and elemental ailments from you. Now it's gone. Now what we got is 80% reduced effect of curses on you guys. That's all we got. So we still get curses on us. It's just less effective now. That's about it. That's pretty much it for the Guardian. Just a little bit more chance to gain power and frenzy charges on hit. That's good. If you can share the power charges and frenzies to the minions around, this is a good shit. But overall, practically no changes to the Guardian. Now for the Ascendant, there's a lot of changes to the Ascendant, guys. Overall, you can see them over here. There's nothing crazy here. We all saw this in the Ascendants as above, so pretty much it. This is all shit that I wanted to read for you guys. I really hope you have the full understanding of what is going on here. Now, I will just try to summarize like what is going on. I think I'm mostly impressed with the changes to the Deadeye. Deadeye got a lot of different stuff now. It got the buffs, the nerfs, it became faster, lost evasion, tremendous amount of less damage taken out, but if you get hit, you'll lose it. Jack got a shit ton of increased attack speed if you can stack the accuracy. Slayer got a lot more leech, 1 extra frenzy and melee strike range. Gladiator, less damage but has a lot of blind and generic block, so you can play with a two-hander now. Champion, lost armor, got a little more fortify. Impale has been nerfed, but he had 15% increased hour of effect, which probably will be balanced out by the Dread Banner. Assassin, get 100% elusive on crit now, lost 20% Fizz of Zester Chaos, but has a little more crit and power charge duration, but unfortunately less damage over time. Saboteur, 100% chance to blind on hit, 10% regen is back, and 20% chance to trigger traps twice. More cooldown recovery for traps. Unfortunately, mine's got fucked in the ass. Trickster, a lot of poison duration and damage over time gone completely, but he got tankier. Jack got his with strength staking. Berserker just got better, got more leech. Max Rage only was buffed. Chieftain took a hammer, got so much better. 2% of totem damage leech now, and 100% increased totem buffs now. Crazy. War Chills will be blowing bosses apart. Necro lost 5% generic Necro damage area. Overall, no big changes except lower minion duration, which will probably affect only the Skellies and the SRS. Occultist, pretty weird. He is a hitter now. He transformed from damage over time to hit damage. They also destroyed the malediction for the chaos-oriented builds. 8% of non-chaos is extra chaos is completely fucking gone. Elementalist, remove damage golem, 20% increase golem per golem, gone. Now Herald reservation, gone. Damage from heralds fucking gone. You always hit for 50% increase more damage though, and with lightning even more. 1% mana regeneration if you inflicted exposure recently, and golems are automatically resummoned if they killed. Dada got tremendous amount of changes over there. He is faster now, lost evasion. He gets more bleed now, 1 extra projectile. He can summon 3 mirror charges now, which will run around and fucking shoot everything around. No more 10 damage per remaining chain, so Spectral Shield Throw is completely removed from the game. But they also added shotgunning, 30% chance to chain on the terrain. So if you hit the fucking wall and the boss is there with his asshole, he's probably will blasted through his asshole and he die. Raider guys just got permanent phasing on Onslaught. Motherfucking crazy guy, very fast. A little more dodge and evade too. Pathfinder, they completely killed the virulence. He doesn't have the longer virulence anymore. Instead, we got 6% of life recovered on any flask use, and a full conversion like 10 to 40% feast to case conversion now with less area effect. Inquisitor, you know, to hit something very fast in order to get cast speed, or you need to cast something in order to get some more attack damage. So overall, just a piece of shit, honestly. I don't think anyone will play it. Also lost 55% crit multiplier. Who the fuck will play Inquisitor anymore? I don't fucking glue, guys. Hierophant, get 4 minimum charges all the time. Both endurance and power charges. Got max endurance and power charges. Also 30% more damage for the totems. If you have a lot of them, like 15%, 5% more per totem, this is more than it was. A little more totem placement speed, but unfortunately we summon 1 totem instead of 2, so it kind of kicks us in the balls right there. And Guardian just does not remove the curses or ailments anymore every 5 seconds. Instead, he just 80% less curse effectiveness on him. That's about it, guys. I really hope you understand anything now. This was pretty long, but I was really deep into this shit. I spent quite a bunch of hours on this. Thanks for watching and see you next time.